Well, shalom again. This is Daniel with Blessed Israel Network, and just wanted to give you an update. This is another episode of Eye on Israel. As most of you probably know, whether you're Jewish, Gentile, believer, non-believer, what have you, we've just had Passover and Easter. And I'm not going to go into all the specifics about each of those holidays, but suffice to say that it's a special time of year. Christians call it Holy Week. Jews call it Passover, Pesach. It's actually the first of the spring feasts. And from here, after Passover is concluded, we begin, at least in Jewish tradition, the Messianic as well, we begin counting the Omer. And for the next 49 plus 1 days, we count the Omer. And then we reach Shavuot, which is also known as Pentecost. So each night we do count the Omer. I think today, as I'm recording this, we're on day 12 of the Omer. And at some point, I might provide a little bit more information, go into detail on the meaning of first fruits. There's a lot of confusion out there. Some people have said that Jesus, Yeshua, rose on first fruits. Others call first fruits the Shavuot or Pentecost. So there's a lot of confusion about that. Maybe at some point I might do teaching specifically on that. But there is no doubt about one thing, and that is that Shavuot is Pentecost and Shavuot is also Feast of First Fruits. So, but details about understanding the meaning of first fruits and so on is a little bit cloudy. So at some point, I might do a message on that. Now, you could also invite us to your congregation, and we'd be happy to speak in detail about that as well. But for now, let me just continue with a little bit of an update as to what's been happening in Israel. Currently, the most recent, let's just say, noteworthy event continues to be the issue of judicial reform, where the Supreme Court, actually since 1995, has basically had control of the country unilaterally. They did it on their own. And right now, the Netanyahu government is attempting to overturn or put that judicial dictatorship, if you will, in the past by implementing judicial reforms, bringing Israel back to something closer to a democracy. There's been demonstrations all over the place. Between you and I, most of the world, including most Israelis, do not seem to understand what the issue is about. There's a lot of people that just hate Netanyahu. It's not dissimilar to those in the United States that hate Trump. Not that he's done anything wrong. Many investigations have taken place. Suits have been filed. They just don't like him. The Democrats just simply don't like him, so they sue and they investigate. Well, in Israel, there's a large percentage of the population that doesn't like Netanyahu, and so they're going after him. Anything he wants, they're against. On principle. Never mind the issue itself, just on principle, because they hate Netanyahu so much. It's a little bit crazy. My own family is in the anti-Netanyahu group. I try to reason with them, they're not listening. So this is still going on, but it's kind of quieted at the moment because there's been Passover, and now today is Monday here in the United States. Tomorrow, or at sundown tonight, because as you probably know, or if you don't know, all Jewish holidays or observances begin on sundown the night before. That's because in the Bible, the Torah, it says there was evening and there was morning. Okay, so in other words, the day, as far as God is concerned, the day begins at sundown. So when you look on the calendar and it says, let's say Passover, April 5th, well, actually it begins on sundown, April 4th. So I think most of you know this, but just a reminder. So they've taken a break from the demonstrations for now because of Passover, and also at sundown tonight, as I started to say a moment ago, is Yom HaShoah, What is that? That is the day of the Shoah, which is the Holocaust. So Israel goes into a 24-hour mourning period in remembrance of the Holocaust. And then Israel sort of lumps these holidays together. They do that one, and then following Yom HaShoah will be Yom Ha'atzmaut. Is that what it is? I think anyway. I think it's Yom Ha'atzmaut, which is the National Memorial Day, kind of like Memorial Day in the United States. And then there's going to be Independence Day, and this year on the calendar is going to be the 75th anniversary of Israel's rebirth since 1948. Yoo-hoo! As many of us who understand Hebrew say, Am Israel Chai, Israel lives. So we will be celebrating in about a week the Independence Day. But there also continues to be daily things that go on in Israel which are very upsetting. Just the nature of it being a Jewish state, being in the middle of the Muslim part of the world. A few days ago, a family that had made Aliyah from Britain, they were attacked in the Jordan Valley, and at least 2 of the family members were murdered by Muslim terrorists. You get it. You got it. That's the way it is in Israel. And Prime Minister Netanyahu went and paid a personal visit to the family. Very tragic, coming on, here we are. Passover is supposed to be a time when we remember the Exodus from Egypt, the time when Israel became a nation, when Israel left Egypt and God led them across the Dead Sea, the Red Sea. I almost said the Dead Sea. When God led them across the Red Sea, Israel became a nation in the desert at Sinai when the Torah was given to them. This was literally the birth of the nation of Israel. So it's really a time of joy and celebration. And this poor family lost 2 of their loved ones. It's horrible. So Prime Minister Netanyahu paid a visit on them. Also, Israel was attacked cyberly, and a number of organizations, their websites went offline, including our bank, where we have our money in Israel. It was attacked, it was hacked, it went offline. Several other banks in Israel went offline. The post office went offline. So this is the kind of stuff that Israel has to deal with on a fairly regular basis. So now we're looking forward, as I say, we're counting the Omer. We're coming up to Shavuot / Pentecost, and we all know about that. Some of us call it Pentecost, some of us call it Shavuot. I remember when we were in California and we were attending a Foursquare church at the time, the pastor there was a very pro-Israel, very pro-Messianic pastor, and it turned out that Shavuot was on a Sunday that we happened to be going to worship on that day. And I walked up to him because we became very close. I walked up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, "Pastor, do you know what today is?" And he said, "What?" He said, "It's Pentecost," which is something that the church and Christians don't really pay a lot of attention to. And he looked at me with wide eyes. He got up on the platform. He announced it to the whole congregation. He had everyone stand and hold hands and pray. It was really quite moving. So it'll be coming up simultaneous with Shavuot. So anyway, nothing more than this, just a little bit of an update. We always keep informed of what's happening in the Holy Land of Israel. So feel free to contact us if you're looking for information and what have you. We'll do our best to provide it for you. And also, we would be happy to come to your congregation. If you are a Christian church and you love Israel, we would come and be happy to share information with you about what's going on with Israel and the Jewish people, and pray with you about bringing Jew and Gentile together, because this is really what we have to do. Okay, we want Yeshua to return, And bringing Jew and Gentile together is critical, okay? So if you're a Messianic congregation, we also offer teachings as well, aside or in addition to talking about Israel. So we offer teachings, current events teachings, the political scene, Torah, scriptural teachings. So that's an option that we provide as well. Both my wife and myself deliver messages on these topics. So please feel free to drop us a note. If you'd like to partner with us, with our ministry, please feel free to do that. You can do that on our website, blessisraelnetwork.com. And again, we are always willing and happy to come to your church or your congregation. So please drop us a note and we'd be happy to engage with you and get a date on the calendar. Okay? So for now, bless you and laitraot. What did I say? Laitraot. That means see you later.